This is Sportscentre.
Hey, I'm Marissa Brito. Another top Canadian junior star is ditching the CHL for college. And this time it's Flyers prospect Porter Martone. By committing to Michigan State, the 6th overall pick joins Gavin McKenna as the most recent high-profile Canadian junior players make the move. And it's got a lot of fans concerned about the state of the CHL. But like we talked about with McKenna a few weeks ago, still seems like there's nothing to worry about with Canadian junior hockey. At least not yet, but that doesn't mean there might not be in the future. It's important to consider how moves like these affect all parties involved. And for both Martone and the Flyers, it makes all the sense in the world. If he were to return to the OHL, he'd be going to a very different team than he was on last year, since 4 of Brampton's 5 highest scorers from last season are all expected to be playing elsewhere, as well as their starting goalie. And keep in mind the team couldn't get out of the first round last year, with all those guys on the roster. So with them all likely out the door, it makes sense that he would follow suit. But the Flyers also benefit from this move, as recent history indicates that the NCAA is a great stepping stone before the NHL. If you don't believe us, just listen to this fact. 6 of the last 9 Calder Trophy finalists played college hockey, including 2 of the last 3 winners in Lane Hudson and Matty Beniers. Playing in the NCAA gave many of these players a chance to play against older, bigger, and stronger players than they would face in the CHL, which ultimately helped them hit the ground running in year 1 of the NHL. Plus, isn't it a good thing that these guys are getting an education? I obviously want what's best for every individual player. If they choose college, then I'm happy for them. If they choose the CHL, great. It's a wonderful opportunity for either. To the NFL, and yesterday in the show we talked about Micah Parsons and how he was expected to go to camp despite entering the final year of his contract. Well, as we learned from Jane Slater of NFL Network, yeah, he showed up to camp. But that doesn't mean we don't get major news regarding Parsons, as Jerry Jones made sure to do that.
Just because we sign him doesn't mean we're going to have him. He was hurt 6 games last year. Seriously. We've signed, I remember signing a player for the highest paid at the position in the league, and he got knocked out 2/3 of the year, Dak Prescott. So there's a lot of things you can think about when you, just as the player does, when you're thinking about committing and guaranteeing money.
First off, he missed 4 games, not 6. But Jerry, he wasn't done there.
Contracts are 4 or 5 years. Okay? There's a lot of water under the bridge if you step out there and do something in the first 2 or 3. You can get hit by a car. Seriously. And so there's a lot to look at over a lot of years that could make a big difference. Have you ever heard of any clubs committing to players and then they didn't pan out after they committed to them? We have.
Yeah, Jerry, that's the business of sports. I feel like you should know this. Both of those sound bites caused one of the best edge rushers to ever do it, JJ Watt, to go off on Twitter saying, quote, "Anytime you can publicly take a dig at your star quarterback and your star pass rusher simultaneously right before the season begins, you just gotta take it. Nothing makes guys want to fight for you more than hearing how upset you are that they got hurt while fighting for you." Oh yeah, and that Watt tweet, guess who reposted? Micah Parsons. Jerry, how about a little empathy? Have you heard of it? And here's where things get even crazier. Apparently the Cowboys and Parsons have yet to have even talks about an extension. And while on the surface that sounds wild, when it comes to the Cowboys, it is nothing new, as Dallas has been burned multiple times waiting to hand out contracts, as we see here with Dak and his $60 million AAV. But if they handle their business earlier, that contract is likely closer to $50 mil. And the same could be said with CeeDee Lamb, and how long they waited to sign him. And now they've literally done the exact same thing with Parsons. As we look at the top edge rusher contracts by AAV, you gotta think Parsons will be at the top of that list. And once again, if they would have taken care of business earlier, maybe before the Myles Garrett contract, they could have signed him at a sub 40 mil AAV. And speaking of other edge rushers, it's official, Trey Hendrickson will not be reporting to Bengals camp today. And according to his IG, well, he's left the state altogether and is cruising through Florida. Oh, okay, yeah, he's sick with the Florida flu. Let's stick with football in our digital Sportscentre division previews. Yesterday we looked at what was statistically the best division in NFL history, last year's NFC North. But today we look at a division that could be even better, the AFC West. Last year this division was loaded with 3 playoff teams, as the Chiefs, Chargers, and Broncos all got in. Just the 9th time in the new division format's history that 3 teams from a division made the playoffs. And looking at the moves all 4 teams made this offseason, really seems like they all improved. While the Chiefs may have lost some important pieces, their improvement comes in the form of health, as Rashee Rice, Hollywood Brown, and Xavier Worthy make for a pretty impressive wide receiver room when healthy. something they did not have last year. Now checking the odds on FanDuel, they are -110 in the division, but when it comes to the conference, they have the third shortest odds, behind both Buffalo and Baltimore. And they're +850 to win the Super Bowl. But Lord help us, I don't want to see the Chiefs in the Super Bowl again. Okay, that's enough. We've had our fun in the sun, let's move on. But if you remove quarterback, the most talented roster in the division might be the Broncos. And that's no knock on second-year quarterback Bo Nix. It's just more telling about how talented this roster is. And then when you factor in Sean Payton and year 2 improvement from Nix, who RG3 called the most underrated quarterback in the NFL, it's easy to see why Denver is -114 to make the playoffs, and an over-under of 9.5. Now, my Raiders should also be much better, with a confident quarterback in Geno Smith, and Rookie of the Year favorite Ashton Genty, who's +270 on FanDuel, and I can't wait to watch. Now, Tim, we did not mention the Chargers. Well, we're going to get to see them first in the preseason, as they take on Detroit in the Hall of Fame game Thursday, July 31st on TSN. Over to the pitch where we got a heavyweight fight in the Women's Euro semifinal tomorrow, as world number 2 Spain is taking on third-ranked Germany. Isn't it crazy how we're always seeing Spain and Germany in these big battles? It's a fun time in soccer, no? My producer, who's a big Germany fan, is hoping for no handball this time. And it would be pretty historic if Spain could make it to the final, as it would be their first appearance in a Euro final ever. It would also keep the 9-time finalist Germany out for just the second time since the early 90s. But let's not crown any victors just yet, especially considering Germany's undefeated against Spain in their last 8 matches, including the bronze medal game in the Paris 2024 Olympics. So even though they are underdogs, they've got history on their side. And honestly, this one goes to penalty kicks. After the performance we saw from the German keeper in the quarters, yeah, that's gonna be tough to beat. And you can watch a semi-final between Germany and Spain tomorrow on TSN at 2:52 Eastern, 11:52 a.m. Pacific. That's it for me today. I'm super good around 3 Eastern, no Pacific. Have a good one.